when we have 4 of us, and if we're two people each picking a match, you can just change at the last minute.
We could. But the problem is that to have that sort of a frame, we'll have to really zoom out, which is not possible.
That's true.
So right behind the pillar also.
That's true.
The guy sitting there may not 100% be visible. But or we could do something. We could switch between cameras. There are 2 cameras. So Ricky Patel, hi, I can see you. Super Giants is also here. Not Pune Super Giants. He's just Super Giants.
This is the Super Giants.
Super Giants actually accused us of being biased.
It's okay. He's our family member. We don't take any offense. Super Giant, whatever you feel, you express.
That goes without saying. But according to him, we don't like RCB and RR.
Come on, nothing like
that. That's not true.
I love all teams equally. Only one who doesn't like RCB is Sid V, who's not here today.
Who's enjoying his holiday.
Who has other political reasons to not like
the Kaveri issue.
The Kaveri Derby.
Yes. What's the latest update, guys? In terms of, we've told everyone that one player has tested positive, one more, Tim Seifert. But the game is going ahead. Teams are at the ground, so game is as planned. But the second game of Delhi Capitals,
that's against the Rajasthan Royals, scheduled on Friday, the 22nd of April. That game was also supposed to take place at the MCA Stadium in Pune. But now that game has also been shifted to the Wankhede in Mumbai. So they are playing now. Today they are playing at the Brabant Stadium. This game was also supposed to take place in Pune. And now the Friday game that was supposed to take place in Pune will be happening at the Wankhede Stadium, because Seifert, earlier we knew that he tested positive in the rapid antigen test. Now the RT-PCR report has also come out and he is positive in that as well.
My point is, how is it going to help? So I understand that the reason they moved this game from Pune to Mumbai was because the team could not travel. They wanted to travel a day before by road so that they can be there. But because tests were happening, they were not sure. So they said, okay, let's have this game in Mumbai so they don't have to travel. The teams can. My point is now, if the cases increase or not, there's still time for that game. You could still travel. You're anyway traveling by road and you're traveling in a bubble.
Also with COVID, you don't know how long it will take for the symptoms to show up. It could happen 2-3 days later. No, so that's my problem. Yesterday, everybody tested negative, right? Everybody thought Tim Seifert, everybody is fine, there's no issues. Today, Tim Seifert has tested positive. So what if tomorrow somebody else tests positive, because Seifert was part of the group that hadn't tested positive last night. So that's a huge problem, and the logical thing would have been to probably reschedule this game at least and give Delhi players a 5-7 day break so that you get to know whether there are any cases or not. But now that they've gone, they've decided to play this game, I'm not sure whether it bodes well for other players, because health issues could definitely be there eventually, because Seifert was also negative last night. And now he's come back positive, and you never know who's going to be positive tomorrow or day after, if that goes.
They are treading on a very thin line. It could go either ways. Actually, if I was organizing the game, or if I was part of the organizing committee, I would have cancelled this game, because what can happen is, one game, you're going ahead with one game, but that one game can risk your entire tournament, because right now the cases in one camp that are also increasing as the days progress. It started with 1, it's now reached 6 members. It could go on to more, but the risk you're running is now you're exposing them to another team, and that can push this now to actually get inside the bubble of another team. So now you're jeopardizing another team. More than that, what about the players? I have now found out from a few Delhi insiders that the players are not happy actually playing. There are Delhi players, they're a bit nervous because they practiced yesterday with Tim Seifert. So they are a bit worried that what if we get it. Not only that, what about the Punjab players today? I am saying a lot of these players have their family staying with them in the bio bubble. So if I get exposed, okay, that's another thing, I get exposed. What if I pass on to my family who I'm sharing the room with? There may be kids, there are other people there. Why should I run the risk? If I was Punjab Kings management, I will tell my players, 2 things I could do. One, I could fight with the BCCI saying that no, you postpone our game. I'm scared. I don't want the coronavirus to breach the bio bubble that we have created. We take all the precautions. I don't want it to breach. Secondly, even if that is not the thing. If you have to go ahead with the game, maybe because the situation is such and the owners agreed, I would still say to my players, okay, if any one of you for personal reasons wants to pull out, no problem, please pull out, and nothing, it won't be held against you, because again, they're entitled to feel scared, to feel nervous for themselves, for their family. It's important.
And you know what is the most concerning thing for me is it seems like that the lessons from last year have not been learnt.
Yep.
The same thing, this exactly was what led to the IPL eventually being, you had to basically play it in 2 legs. There was an India leg.
Suspended it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And last year, again, it was that same, the show must go on mentality that ended up halting the show. We don't want that to be happening a second time, because it wreaks havoc with everyone's, like again, last year was a T20 World Cup. You're playing it just before. This year is also a T20 World Cup. Do you really want to be keeping it that last minute all over one game when you can very easily reschedule it?
Was that by design or by coincidence?
This is the second time it has
Exactly
happened.
the same color.
Second time it has happened. That shade
But I like
is-
this blue. It's a nice blue.
Yeah, it's a very
matching
good
the blue of Lucknow.
Hey, I'm wearing
And
my
he's wearing
pink also.
Yes, nice pink.
And below the Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Today,
Did you guys plan it or it
No.
was?
No.
Did the
not at all.
producer in Shivam said no? We've got matching colors. Actually, if he had planned it, then it would have been the other way around. Blue would have come here, pink would have gone there, so it stands out. Now it looks like an extension. But yeah, it's nice. No, this is I don't know. They've gone ahead. And one more thing, why? And it's a valid question. Why does the bubble breach happen only in India? You've had 2 IPLs in the Middle East. None of these things
happen. Yeah.
Yes,
Correct.
because sometimes, and you got to accept it, maybe we are casual. We now know that the bubble breach in Delhi happened because of the hotel staff. Because 3 hotel staff members have tested positive. That means we're not taking all precautions, whether it is the BCCI that is to be blamed, whether it's the IPL team, whether it is the hotel that you're saying, whatever, I don't know. But you have to agree that when it was happening in the Middle East for 2 years, none of these things happened.
True.
It was done very well. Twice in India you've tried to do it, and both times you've had cases.
And
Tell
you know
me
what's
something.
interesting?
When the ISL happened, there were no COVID cases, right?
No breaches. But it happened with the I League. There were a few cases, and they had to suspend the league, and they brought them.
Yeah,
back.
but I'm
with
saying
ISL none.
ISL none,
And
right?
ISL went on for 5 months.
Yeah, ISL also they played
4, 5.
20 games. IPL teams are only playing 14.
Correct.
ISL went on for far longer, and as you pointed out,
Although
I
one-
think that go ahead. Go
You
ahead.
finish, then I'll say.
I was just saying that who bears the responsibility if somebody from the Punjab Kings camp tests positive 2 days later?
Exactly.
Okay, and then Punjab gonna play another team, then you are putting them at risk.
Yep.
You're putting everyone at risk,
I'm saying
right?
DC played Rajasthan. It's not like there's a 4-day gap. They played Rajasthan on Friday. Today is Wednesday.
Correct.
There's just a 1-day gap, and usually for the COVID virus to show up, okay, it takes 3
Shankar
days.
Sahu
Incubation.
is saying the same thing. He's saying, will the BCCI take responsibility if Punjab camp have COVID cases? Exactly what we take. BCCI, see again, it will hurt the BCCI, whether directly, indirectly, because if there are COVID cases there, then you're heading towards another IPL being cancelled. What they should have done is, how we pointed out, it's okay, one game doesn't happen on one night, it's fine, postpone it to another day, make it a double header that day. I understand the commercials come into play, the broadcaster is never happy having a day game, but so be it. It's better than not having a IPL at all, having an entire season being forfeited. So
It's also worth noting that in 2020, when they had taken the IPL to UAE, at that point, UAE itself was not exactly, it had not seen a decline in cases.
Yep.
Despite that, there were no bubble breaches, there was no COVID which managed to breach.
True.
2 straight years we've been seeing it happen in India, and there's been a case breach always. How lax are you being, boss?
Sagnik Ghosh is saying, sir, this channel deserves far more than 80k followers. We're happy with 80k, yaar. I am saying even if there were 80 people, doesn't matter. There is nothing that we are chasing. If 80k becomes 100k, so be
Great
it.
for us.
If 80k remains 80k, we'll love the
Still
80k.
great.
We just need to come here every day, chat with you guys, have fun, share our thoughts, as I say quite often, take some of your thoughts in. That's what we love doing. He says, will COVID affect this year's IPL? It's already affected. In the
It
sense.
already has.
It's already here.
Sixth case in the Delhi camp.
Yeah.
So 6 cases in the Delhi camp, 3 hotel staff members separately, so 9 9 cases in total around the IPL.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of team composition DC are coming up with, because you think, okay, Mitch Marsh not there, the natural replacement would have been Tim Seifert. Now you've got Tim Seifert ruled out.
Actually, I'm not sure about that. Tim Seifert was basically Warner's replacement that we saw the moment Warner came in. Now the problem is, who will bat number 3? Now Rishabh Pant, will he go up the order? Whenever they get Sarfaraz Khan, Sarfaraz will bat.
My point is, somebody needed to replace Robin Powell.
And now
they can't. I said it out loud. You remember upstairs I said Robin Powell probably would have sit out this game, but because they don't have enough people available only, they might just play him.
Yeah.
Okay, Harkirat Singh, Harkirat ki halne ji today. You are saying Nikhil sir, Sports Tak pe aa jao please. Sports Today pe, you come to Sports Today na yaar. We'll chat here. So because we run simultaneous streams, it's not possible.
Yeah.
So I'm here every day. So come to Sports Today. If you have any questions, please throw it here. We'll try and answer that. Love Rami, again, regular watcher is here. He says, time to shift IPL out of India like last year, and it should be India though, because in India there is always a scare of COVID cases which keep on fluctuating. See again, I personally love the fact that IPL is happening in India because it's the Indian Premier League. It has to happen in India. But you need to take precautions. If you can have 2 seasons of IPL in the Middle East, the UAE leg where not a single case happened. Why is it happening in India? Who needs to really pull up their socks is something that the BCCI needs to look at. Maybe it's the BCCI which really needs to look at why this is happening. Take stringent measures, tough calls. But you have to, if you have to have the IPL, and I know all of us love watching the IPL, you have to be a bit strict.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't agree with you that shift it out of India.
Also, it's not that easy. It takes months of planning to shift it out. It can't happen like this.
That's why they had to suspend it last time around. It's not like they can just pack shop and go, no?
Yeah, but what are you guys expecting?
Shikhar Srivastav has an interesting question, though it's not about today's game and the toss is about to happen. He's talking about, after we do the toss update, Shikhar, I'll come to your question. Meanwhile,
Delhi have won the toss, and I'm gonna wager a bit of an interesting one. Yeah, I think they'll bowl. But we'll soon see.
Interesting. That is interesting.
I was being sarcastic. Obviously, it's not interesting. Everyone's picked to bowl. And there we go.
Delhi Capitals are bowling.
What, 32
not
out of
surprising.
32 out of 32. 100%. Just keep
Tushar
coming.
Sekhar has a very good question. We must answer it. He's saying, who took your chairs? Nobody, Tushar.
We decided to give it a bit of a locker room feel.
We said, this is how actual locker rooms look like in any sport. This is how the players come and sit, and their jerseys are hanging. Their kits are usually in the drawer like this here, and they sit on these comfortable seats like this. So we thought, why not use these seats? They're meant to be used. So we thought that's another aspect of our set that we must explore. So that's why we've got it like this, yeah.
On the whole COVID issue, Pant just said that it's an unfortunate thing, and they are not going to think about it.
Do they have a choice?
Yeah, well, this is a reverse sort of a line.
But Mayank is also back, by the way. Missed the last game.
Yes.
Mayank is back, and that's a big boost for the Punjab Kings.
I've got Mayank in my fantasy team.
I've also got Mayank in my fantasy team, but you know who I've also got? Shikhar Dhawan. Who is he playing against? Against his former team. The subplot is there, and he's only 12 runs away from competing 6,000 runs in IPL.
You want subplots? The first game which Mayank actually had captained Punjab Kings, where he was a stand-in for KL, was against the Delhi Capitals. Mayank scored 99, not out. Oh, it gets better. They lost the game, Punjab, and you know who were the star performers for DC that day? It was Shikhar Dhawan and Kagi Surabada,
who are both playing for Punjab Kings this season.
Correct.
That's an interesting take. This is what happens in the IPL. Yeah. Keep shuffling the teams.
Also the packs have been shuffled like this.
I know.
I think the loyalties have also gone in terms of a lot of people like, who do we support now? My favorite player has gone to that side.
That is why I want the auction concept to be done away with. Let teams actually focus on building.
Yeah.
You can't, you'll have players or rather people.
Oh, finally, big change. Odean Smith is out.
Oh, that is breaking news indeed.
And Nathan Ellis.
Nathan Ellis. Oh.
Not your favorite? You guys were all pitching.
No, that was Benny Howell.
Benny Howell.
Yeah.
Nathan Ellis, surprising take, but he was part of the Australian squad in Pakistan. Plays for the Hobart Hurricanes. By the way, he along with Riley Meredith are the two fast bowling players, fast bowlers in that side, Hobart Hurricane side. And let's see, now he's making his he's playing for Punjab Kings. I want to see whether Riley Meredith plays for Mumbai tomorrow in place of Tim Mills.
So the big thing has happened. Odean Smith finally has been dropped.
I don't understand. He just started actually playing half decently.
No, he didn't. I think last game.
No, last game, 1 over he bowled and he did not bat well.
Yes.
Then fair enough. And he did say, Mayank did say it's a strategic change. So
Strategic. I mean, better late than never.
Let's drop an underperforming player. Real strategy there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Odean Smith is finally out. Will we ever get a chance to say that about Roman Powell, Riyan Parag?
Well, Robin
Vijay
is
Shankar
is there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Will we ever get a chance to say that about Roman
Also,
Powell, Riyan
team sheets
Parag?
are showing Rishabh Pant batting at 3.
No, but he did bat at 3 in one of those games. I think last to last game he batted at 3. But I think Sarfaraz today might bat at 3 and Pant at 4,
So
Powell at 5.
Sarfaraz is in. He is going to bat at number 3. Tim Seifert not available because Mitch Marsh played the last game. His replacement could have been Seifert, but he's
also not
there.
there.
He's tested positive for corona. So Sarfaraz comes in. Sarfaraz batted at number 3 the last time he played. So for all you know, he could bat at 3. And Pant pushes himself to number 4. We don't know. Whichever way they look at it, team sheet is clearly not an indication what to do. Roman Powell has been batting at least 5, 6 or whatever. So
And
No,
batting one ball.
but the thing is, again, they don't want to play somebody like a Lungi and Gidi. And Nick Nokia is still not fit.
Yeah.
and
I think so.
Nokia
I think that they rushed him.
yeah.
Clearly,
They
the
did,
first
they did.
game they rushed
Quite
him.
clearly.
He played one game, bowled 2 beamers, was taken off the attack, and next game he just dropped
Yeah,
him,
they-
and now he's not played 3
Maybe
games
they
in a
dropped
row.
him on form. Who knows?
No, I don't think so.
One
They dropped
match
him on
form?
form. One match.
2 beamers, yeah.
Even so, he's
No,
coming
but
back from
2
a very
beamers
long
doesn't
injury.
mean that there are players who must have bowled 2 beamers before also.
No, maybe they must have seen enough. He's like, no, you do some more nets, please. Then
Who knows? Maybe he's not that fit. That could also be a huge reason they rushed him.
maybe. So Rishabh's entire comment on that was, because of corona, he said it's an unfortunate thing. We are not going to think about it. We will find strength among ourselves. There were parts where we bowled and batted well in the last match. Sarfaraz, as we said, is coming for Mitchell Marsh. So again, the Delhi Capitals batting, Prithvi and David Warner need to fire. Rishabh Pant, the interesting take, because we've been talking about Ravi Shastri and his take on Virat Kohli, and we've done a separate video on that. But Ravi Shastri's take on Rishabh Pant was also interesting, where he's actually pointed out that are you guys making your team?
Yes. No, but we are listening to you as well.
I'll stop for
Go
now.
on.
Let you make
No,
first.
where he pointed out, Ravi Shastri pointed out that he needs to forget he's a captain, Rishabh Pant, and bat like just one of the players.
Bat like Rishabh Pant, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is what he needs to do. And if he does that, then maybe he can
Yeah,
get
because
a
I don't
lot
know,
of-
if Rishabh Pant is not playing that explosive style, then he's not the same player playing at 120, 130 strike rate. You need him batting harder,
Yeah.
plain and simple.
And Roman Powell, last chance
I
before
mean,
he
it
goes
depends.
the Odean Smith way.
It depends on who they have available.
No, Mitchell Marsh won't be back for the next game as well.
For sure.
Yeah,
So
for
we
sure.
know.
Neither
and,
will,
And Tim Seifert also
Tim
won't be
Seifert,
available.
yeah.
So we really don't know. In fact, Mitchell Marsh's CT value was 17, boss. He had to be hospitalized just as a precautionary measure. So I'm not even sure whether the poor guy will even play 3 games later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just go down a bit, please, Shivam. Go down. No. Yeah. We
Perfect.
can't see the Punjab team, na? So Punjab, Mayank Agarwal coming in,
And
big
I'm done.
boost.
Big boost for them.
After showing some great form in that game that he played, his last game that he played, he
Got
had
a
a
bit of an
foot
injury.
injury apparently.
Yeah.
So he missed out the last game, and Shikhar was captaining. He was expected to be back for this game, and so Mayank is back. Shikhar again showed form last game. Johnny Bairstow is the one who really needs to step up. Liam Livingston, what can I say, is having a dream IPL,
Yeah.
both with the bat and to an extent with the ball as well. Jitesh Sharma, again an outstanding performer. Shahrukh showed some glimpses last game, as I recall.
But only
again,
the problem was his strike rate. Even though he scored some 26 odd runs, he took 28 balls to score them.
yeah.
So that's been a problem for their lower order, and I think that they really need Jitesh Sharma and Shahrukh both to fire tonight.
Yeah.
And Bairstow, I'm sort of backing Bairstow to do well tonight. I think
Log
tonight is the
averages.
night. Tonight is the night for Johnny Bairstow.
Tonight is the night. Go ahead, talking about Johnny Bairstow. There he is. Could be, huh? Could be the guy. Nathan Ellis, what does he bring? What were you mentioning about his performance just leading into the IPL?
He bowled really well for the Australian side also. And the thing
Pakistan.
is, in Pakistan, you know that Australia rested their key bowlers in Pakistan for that limited overs leg. So Ellis is one of those who got an opportunity. And the opportunity he got was because of the performances. This year, Riley Meredith was injured quite a bit in the BBL. So Nathan Ellis is the one who led their attack and did really well for the Hobart Hurricanes. And that's precisely the reason why he got selected for Australia and now playing for the Punjab Kings also. If I'm not wrong, he was picked by the Punjab Kings last season also. Nathan Ellis was part of
I think he was. Yes,
both him and Riley Meredith were part of the.
Yeah, they had gone high on the BBL.
So Ellis could be. Let's see how he goes. But of course, he brings that pace to the attack again.
Vaibhav Arora started well, but now slightly fallen off.
The thing is, he bowls 3 overs in the power play. First 2 overs he usually bowls decently. The third over he concedes runs.
Because when it's swinging, it kind of helps him.
Yeah.
When the ball stops swinging, I think that's the issue. Arshdeep has been outstanding economy-wise, but I think he's got 2 wickets.
He hardly has any wickets.
The 2 wickets, I think, so far.
And that's what I was pointing out, that for me, the bowler of the tournament would have been Arshdeep. He would have picked 10 or 11 wickets. Yeah. Just the fact that he's been bowling so well at the death, hardly gives an inch to batsmen, gets those Yorkers with pinpoint accuracy, completely right, those wide Yorkers, and somehow still not managed wickets. That's the surprising bit for me, because last season we saw he was picking 3 wickets, he was picking 2 wickets in a game. That kept happening. This season somehow not picking any wickets.
I think they're respecting him also. They're not able to quite play him.
I think
so they're not
just respecting. Even if they're trying, they're hardly finding a way to hit it.
Exactly.
The only problem in the last game I thought was that he bowled really well. His first 5 deliveries, 2 overs, he conceded runs off his very last ball.
Right.
6 deliveries. So he needs to finish his overs well as well.
Okay, a few comments I'm going to take. This is Ayan Sharma saying BCCI just announced DCRR shifted to Mumbai from Pune. We've already given that information on Sports Today via a post about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, and then we discussed that too. Thank you for that, Ayan. Bharveer Singh says Punjab has lost toss for the 6th time. Is that correct?
Could be.
SRH I think has won straight. All. And Punjab have lost all. That would be interesting. I will have to wait. SRH I know.
Punjab have lost. This is their 7th game.
So 6 straight losses.
6 straight losses. So he won the toss in the first game and then.
That is interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay. Punjab Kings last year team spotted again. Nothing is saying. What does that mean? That this team is looking like
the Punjab team from last year?
No, I think they look much better as a side.
So they've played 6 games. They've got 3 wins, 3 losses, and tonight I feel it's a golden opportunity for them
to get their 4th
victory and get those 8 points on board. And with the way Delhi has also been playing, 2 wins, 3 losses. Don't know what you're expecting of them. Let's see.
Yeah.
Sai Dattu is saying excellent show. Watching from the US of A. Hey, say hi to Sai.
Hello.
He's saying Siri is my latest favorite with facts and his dance moves. Wow, we love him too. Today he's got a well-deserved off day, so he's chilling at home. Doing all the household chores like fixing the bulbs and
then after his comment last night, I'm
sure
his wife is making him do a lot of stuff as well.
Sweeping and swabbing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our family, this family you're talking about like that. Go pick the broom, do some cleaning. That's what is happening with Sidvi tonight.
Nikhil says that Maharashtra government has lifted all the restrictions, even masks. Well, actually, Nikhil, to be fair, it was lifted here in the Delhi NCR region as well. Now it's back in Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Delhi, all 3 ranges. So that wasn't just the case with Maharashtra, just here as well. So he says the government itself thinks there is no risk of COVID. IPL getting cases because they are doing testing. I think they can keep playing with negative players. Nikhil, I agree you can keep playing with negative players. The only issue there is that the positive rates or the positive results don't come out immediately. It takes time for the virus to manifest in the body, and sometimes the results come a little later. So again, is it is it sensible to do it? I'm not too sure. If you can postpone a game, doesn't harm anyone. I mean, of course, you'll have to make minor changes to the schedule, but in the larger scheme of things, that would be a better decision. God forbid if the cases now move from Delhi to Punjab, what are you going to do? From Punjab to another team? That could be, unless, they've taken this view that, okay, it's part of life, we have to carry on like this, so be it. I don't know whether that's their thing. Redacted Shetty, where's Siri? We already answered your question. It's his off day today. Bharveer Singh has an interesting question. Why not Rajapaksa? Why are we not talking about Rajapaksa more? He had a good outing and then was dropped but doesn't come back. He could be the number 3 that you're looking for.
I think they don't want to bring in somebody like a Harpreet Brar because you'd have to take somebody, one of either Shah Rukh Khan or Jitesh Sharma out to get a bowler in and then put Rajapaksa, because with Nathan Ellis you get 4 overs. With Rajapaksa, you get none. And they need a bowling option, otherwise their 5th bowling option is a problem.
Yeah, Odian was
Livingston,
bowling 4.
Livingston has bowled a few overs, but I discussed this in my fantasy video today also, that if they are willing to sacrifice somebody like a Shah Rukh or a Jitesh Sharma for a Harpreet Brar and then getting in Rajapaksa for Odian Smith, that could have worked, otherwise it can't. So now they've just... Ellis, by the way, I think it was also to do with he picked 4 for 28 against Pakistan. So that's good figures, especially with the white ball.
Austin Kuna's question, Nikhil sir, Rishabh Pant is having a good IPL season, average of 36 and a strike rate of 147. I don't know if these numbers are correct, but if you insist. Do you think he's under pressure due to DK's peak this season? You can't ignore it completely, especially when there is talk about, bring DK into the team. Now, Sunny Gavaskar has also said it. We also said it on Sports Today earlier that maybe you can look at bringing him. So, yes, that pressure will be there. But like you are talking about a Virat Kohli needing rest because of the coronavirus, I think Rishabh Pant is in the same boat because he's a 3-format player. He's also continuously been playing cricket for the Indian team. He's also taken a few series rest. He has been given just like Virat. But is that rest enough? Do you really need to give players some time off for a longer time? But as we have learned, a lot of these players have been offered rest, they're not ready to rest because they understand that if they miss out on a few series or games, then their position in the team then comes under scrutiny and someone else performs. So it's a catch-22 situation.
I think the other reason also is that why his numbers are probably not looking as good is because that middle order without him seems very non-existent. So he has to take that pressure on himself, and that is reflecting in his game.
You see the change what has happened this season. There was a Marcus Stoinis, a Shimron Hetmyer earlier for him to sort of go out and play on his own, like go out bang bang, the way we know Rishabh Pant used to play.
Yes.
Now the problem is, who has he got? He has got players like Roman Pal who aren't performing at all, and then if you are thinking that Lalit Yadav, Akshar Patel and Shardul are going to bail you out every time, that's like thinking a lot about your all-rounders. And they have bailed them out, by the way. The 2 games that they have won, their lower order has bailed them out. So I really think for Pant to really flourish and the kind of form we have seen in the previous years, he needs his lower order to be firing, especially players like Roman Pal.
Okay, Rahul KR says, why crowd is not stopped in the IPL now? Well, just to let you know, Rahul, that at the moment the crowd is not affecting the players as such. There is this distance between them. They're not coming in close contact. In fact, players are sometimes not even coming in close contact with a few family members, because if they're out of the bubble they can be in the stadium. I know a lot of owners of the IPL teams who are out of the bubble, so they sit in the crowd area but they don't come in contact with their own team members. So if you can maintain that, then I don't see an issue with the crowd. I think the decision on the crowd would be taken based on what the advisory from the government is, the local government. If the cases are going to be spreading really rapidly, then maybe the government advisory may suggest that don't have crowds. So that's a decision to be taken later. I don't think it directly affects COVID cases within the teams. So now for that you have to maintain the bio bubble separately.
True.
And it's the state and central government's prerogative whether they want to put those guidelines.
State predominantly.
Anim World is saying, yesterday after the toss, LSG posted a tweet, RCB beta tumse na ho payega, and RCB won the match. What is your comment on admin comment? I actually thought that wasn't in great taste, to be very honest. Lucknow Super Giants admin, I understand that nowadays you have a lot of pressure to be funny and hilarious, but there is a way. I mean, you can be funny, hilarious, pull each other's leg, but you could do it in a classier manner. That I thought was
I remember if you're talking about like in good taste, when the auction was happening at one point when Jaydev Unatkat's name came up, the KKR Twitter tagged Rajasthan and says, "Bhai, bid karo.
Ah,
That is at least somewhat
that is funny.
You're not.
Or like, I remember during the 2019, there was this banter between Wimbledon and ICC. That was nicely done. Like,
Are you
really
having
classy.
fun, something?
That was classy.
Nice.
That thing by LSG, that tweet was, I mean, I thought that there was very low in terms of quality when you're looking for humor. I mean, it could have been better. Banter can be better, more classy. That wasn't. Maybe you can hire Wasim Jaffar's social media.
The thing is also.
Agreed. He's pretty good. Really
Sometimes
funny.
with a lot of these players, it comes very naturally. So I remember after the first time when KKR got Cummins for that 15 odd crores, they gazumped everyone by coming in so late, and Delhi were winning the bid at one point. So the next year, when the auction happened, Ricky Ponting takes to Twitter and says, planning on buying some players today, unless money bags, and then he tags Baz McCullum. Has any other plans? That's good banter.
That's good.
By the way, not to forget, have you made your team?
No, I haven't. So I'm going to quickly make it. Why don't you take a few questions? I'll tell you. There is one. Manjeet Singh is saying, love to the Chokri. Tim and Mitch both have turned positive results. Wasn't it possible to postpone the match because it can result in others coming positive and thus affecting probably the whole tournament? Manjeet, I think we've answered that enough. We agree with you. We've answered that. Why don't you take a mute? Pradeep Srivalsan is saying DC win is important for the tournament, but I doubt that will happen. What do you think about their chances?
DC,
who do you think are the favourite?
DC are currently on 4 points. Shivam, if you can show us the points table, they are just above, I think so. What? Chennai?
Chennai are not nowhere near that.
No, so I'm saying Chennai have got 2 points, DC have 4, and they are the only team with 4 points. So they are 8th right now in the league. But the fact is that they have played at least a game less than all other franchises. So if they win tonight, they'll be level on points with both Punjab Kings and the KKR. And I think that entire mid-table is sort of
very, very, very tight.
Crammed up.
Yeah.
I think the runaway leaders, Gujarat Titans have been doing really well, and the way they won that game despite no Hardik Pandya was just amazing to watch. And RCB also have been so consistent, considering the only game they lost to CSK, which was a surprise.
I made my team.
You made your team?
Very quickly.
So my entire point is, do you see DC? Because for me, when I saw their team at the auction also, I thought they've got a good bowling lineup, but again their batsmen without the Mitchell Marsh being there, and Mitchell Marsh is not going to be there for a few more games, I think they're going to find it hard.
Since you're talking about that social media thing, nothing is pointing out that talking about Wasim Jaffer, he insulted Kane Williamson by calling him Pakra. I don't know.
I didn't come across this one. Wow.
I don't know, but some of the tweets are really funny. I have to say that.
But I'm pretty sure if he was saying it, I don't think he meant it in a bad way.
I can't remember.
A character like Wasim Jaffer of all people is insulting someone like Kane Williamson.
Wasim Jaffer is also one of those who doesn't do
it. Pretty chill guy.
Yeah.
But Nikhil, what do you make of Delhi Capitals' chances? 4 points from 5 games. They could go to 6 if
No,
they
they're not.
tonight.
I mean, to be honest, Delhi Capitals not looking good this season. I hadn't picked them in my top 4.
I also did not.
Yeah, I do not think they have the firepower. They may win games here and there on the back of some individual brilliance by a Prithvi Shaw or a David Warner or a Rishabh Pant on and off, or maybe when Nokia comes back into form. But again, on the whole, does this team have the depth to be doing it consistently? I don't think so.
No, they don't. They don't look like a team that are built. Again, it's too top heavy. That middle order is very suspect.
I think the problem is they were dependent on somebody like a Mitch Marsh, and that really hasn't happened for them. So you have to understand, Mitch Marsh, when he comes into the side, DC look like a different unit, even though last game they lost. But with Mitch Marsh firing, with the kind of batting we saw both for the Australian team as well as the Perth Scorchers, boss, that BBL side Perth Scorchers, before the final, Mitchell Marsh was on fire. Every game that he was playing, he was scoring 60, 70, scored 100 also. So that kind of talent, if they're missing out on such a player who's turned game on its head like so many times, I think that's a big loss. And because of the fact that certain players haven't fired, Nokia is not playing, the guy who retained, it's a problem for DC.
Couple of questions I'm going to take. Rahul KR again has a rejoinder to the question that he asked. He said, but wasn't the road safety tournament last year, it got COVID due to crowd? We shouldn't underestimate the effect, but I think in the road safety, as far as I can remember, there wasn't this sort of a strict bubble for the players. The players were mingling with the rest of the
crowd.
Crowd or the support
parties
member.
or whatever afterwards, and they were all mingling together.
That's horribly irresponsible behavior.
Yeah, but here there is no connect. If you remember, just to give you an example, Yuzi Chahal's wife was part of the bubble, and at that time she could be there, but then she moved out of the bubble. So it reached a situation when he took a hat trick, she could only talk to him from the stands and not go close because she had moved out of the bubble. So even if you're a family member, as I said, owner of the team, if you moved out of the bubble, then you completely are not coming in contact with the players. So I don't think crowd is an issue at the moment. Aditya Sinha is saying, why is there no one asking from where did COVID enter the bubble? I think, Aditya, there may be inquiry by the BCCI already, but I think we already gave you an answer if you joined us earlier, where COVID may have entered the bubble. I think it entered from the hotel staff because 3 members of the hotel staff tested positive. Now remember, you got to understand, earlier during the peak of COVID, you were booking the entire hotel for one team. Now it's not happening. So these are public hotels. Areas have been booked for team, let's say floors where all rooms are of the team member and no one else is allowed access. That's how you're maintaining bubbles. But then the catering and where your common areas are, where you're being served tea, coffee, food are common, and the hotel staff is serving you. Maybe that is the place where it breached the bubble as far as the Delhi Capitals is concerned. Also, but now that you're playing a game, maybe it might go elsewhere from playing the game and not so much.
So Pradeep Srivasan points out that LSG tweet was a bit offensive. Wasim meant Kane as GOAT.
Oh, Bakra as GOAT.
Yes, Bakra as GOAT. Makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Correct. There, Pradeep pointed that out.
Wasim wasn't offensive.
Not a chance.
Nothing. I think was saying there was offensive. Yeah, nothing. You got something
wrong.
Something.
Saurabh Sharma says, one thing I want to ask though, Ricky Ponting said Prithvi has it in him to play 100 tests for India, and issue remains with incoming delivery as he gets out easily. In Australia, I commented high backlift. Saurabh, I'll tell you one thing, and that's a lesson that I've learned having observed a lot of these cricketers, and might I add, foreign cricketers. When they're part of a particular franchise, please take their comments with not a pinch but a bag full of salt, because they will always be praising their guys and this is the best batsman, he will do it. Each of these guys will say it. That's why I say often listen to analysts who are neutral, not associated with any team, because then it makes sense. Otherwise, everyone who's in a particular franchise, for him, that talented guy, they will say high things for 2 reasons. One, because they're the same team, and to boost their confidence. It helps if you say a positive statement like that. So they're just playing, according to what works best for their team or them and in their individual capacity. So to take the word, I'm saying if he's good for 100 test matches, first let him start getting 600, 700 runs in the IPL.
Also, let's not forget, this is the same Ricky Ponting who very clearly pointed out what were the deficiencies in this game.
Exactly what was pointed out here.
Which Mitch Starc was then, exploiting for fun.
Yeah, so exactly my point. And have those deficiencies been addressed already? I don't think so.
We'll only know that if he plays domestics.
Exactly. Exactly my point. So, I mean, don't take these comments really seriously. Abhinash Das says, my question is, as per Ravi Shastri, Virat needed rest. It required for how many days, month? Abhinash, I think he didn't mention. I think he, in his comment, said whether it's a month and a half, whatever he should do. Kevin Peterson said 6 months. No, but Kevin Peterson forgets that the culture there is quite different to the culture here.
It is.
There it's pretty okay for Ben Stokes to go for a long time and then come back. Here we're not as accommodating when it comes to players
all
taking
hell will break loose if Virat Kohli says that I'm not going to be available for 6 months.
Ain't going to happen 6 months. It's much like the corporate culture abroad, where you can go backpacking for 6 months and be okay.
Then come
in
back.
India, it'll be fine.
It's not possible here.
It is not. That's a fact.
That is true. You can't do it.
2-day chutti is a tough thing. It's just so. So again, maybe not those small breaks. That's why I think what Ravi Shastri is saying is, slightly more in line with what can happen. Maybe not just 1 off to 20 matches that he's missing may not do the trick. A longer break, maybe a month and a half, he could possibly do that and then come back rejuvenated, completely turned off from cricket. That could help, but not clearly 6 months. Okay, Austin has a stat for us. I'll just take it. Virat's worst start to an IPL season after 7 matches, 119, beating his 122 runs in 7 games in 2008.
And 2008, I mean, Virat Kohli was
He says, what if, his question is,
who was let go by Delhi Capitals and was picked by RCB.
He's saying, what if, God forbid, if Virat does not reach its peak ever again, will it affect his legacy?
No.
I think it will.
It will.
I tell you why.
It will.
See, I'm saying, let's say, when we were looking at Virat, he was in unbelievable amount of form. We were looking at 100 international hundreds. Will he go past, those many runs?
All the Sachin records.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. But if it doesn't, now he'll be way short of those records. It will affect his legacy to an extent that still, whatever he's already achieved is fantastic. But where he could have ended up had he continued at that pace, playing till 38, 39 years of age, to where he'll end up now is a huge difference. So he'll still go down as one of the greats to have played, but may not be at that level where we imagined at one point. Where he
we all thought he's going to break Sachin's record, right?
Yeah, we all did.
That
70 hundreds.
Yeah.
Like you thought, oh, it's
happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And the way he reached there, every year he was scoring so many tons that you thought it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
But just.
Sanket Joshi saying, by which corporate culture are you talking about where you're allowed 6 months of backpacking? Sanket, you didn't hear my comment. I said it happens abroad, not in India. In India, even 2 days is very tough to take off from work. That's why I was comparing to what Peterson said about Kohli, 6 months. I said that may not be possible. It's possible in the Western countries, in their culture, not in our culture. So that is the corporate culture that I was referring to, Sanket. Northern Derby, Big Boy is pointing out, it is indeed. We keep talking about the Southern Derby, this is the Northern Derby.
But Southern Derby, I think so, it can be between SRH and CSK also, and SRH and RCB.
Yeah.
True.
So, Northern Derby can be Rajasthan and Delhi also, and Delhi
Rajasthan
and Punjab
is like
also.
northwest now, so that's why I would say this is the Northern Derby, that I agree with.
Oh, it could
Southern
be,
Derby is a little conflicting.
Jaipur is like 4 hours from Delhi, yeah. It's still Northern Derby, all of them.
And what about Lucknow?
Lucknow as well.
Lucknow, yeah, correct.
Yeah. Plenty of option. Okay, quickly predictions before we wrap up.
Okay, I say Punjab Kings to win and they will score 190.
They have not, their batsmen, they are playing an extra bowler, they don't have enough batting, I feel. 170 and DC chase it down.
I say 180 and Punjab wins.
I think, I just think that today, I don't know why, Johnny Bairstow, either I'm jinxing him tonight or he's going to score some runs.
Big Boy has a prediction, 183. I think he's made this prediction earlier as well. He's obsessed with this number.
With that
183.
number.
But we'll remember your prediction, don't worry. Thank you, see you, lovely company in the middle of the innings. We'll see you, bye-bye for now. Don't forget to download the Gamezy